Hey guys, I did it just as promised. I went to Resurrected Movies, Games, and More in Austin, Texas. I checked out the store to see if it deserved all these one-star reviews that I was reading on my previous video here. So yeah, let's go check out Resurrected in Austin. It's an interesting store, lots of DVDs, lots of video games, lots of trading card games. But let me know in the comments if you feel like this store deserves all the hate that it gets on Google reviews, and be sure and watch the first video I did because it'll give you some context, frame of reference for this video. So yeah, let me know what you think of this store. 1 star, 3 stars, 5 stars, let me know in the comments. Oh, and be sure and stay till the very end when I give you my general opinions of the place. All right guys, I have made it to Resurrected Games on Guadalupe Street in Austin. Yeah, I believe they call it Guadalupe, not Guadalupe. Anyway, let's go inside and check it out and just see what we're getting into here. It's a Saturday afternoon. Let's go inside and see what we can see. They've got games, movies, and the like stacked from floor to ceiling. Got a lot of stuff in here, so let's check it out. They have got a ton of trading card games, but we're gonna focus mostly on retro video games because that's the channel. And you see they've got some Game Boy Colors up here, look like around 90 bucks, Game Boy Advance 150, and we've got some 3DS games here. Love the 3DS system. Still probably my favorite handheld of all time as far as, you know, just being strictly a handheld console. The 3DS XL is absolutely amazing. They've got a nice selection of CIB games and cartridges, got some GBA stuff over here. The lighting is good in here because you've got light straight from outside, so you got some natural lighting here. And we've got a pretty nice selection of NES titles. I've told you guys how much I love Karnov, great platform shooter. Kid Nicky, the Radical Ninja, that's one of the earlier NES games I remember playing back in the day. I love that one, spent hours playing it along with Akari Warriors. Love the 2-player action on that game, even though I recognize that it is flawed and actually has a glitch where you get stuck, and that did happen to me and my brother-in-law years ago after, decades ago, after spending many hours on that game. We got stuck and couldn't get to the end. Very frustrating, but still it was a lot of fun and made for great memories. So yeah, very nice selection here. Bubble Bobble, got some hard to find games along with some common stuff. Adventure Island 2 is kind of a tough one to find these days. Platoon, I should say. I remember renting that for a kid that I was babysitting, and because my good buddy Zeb now, he's in his 40s now, and it seems hard to believe that I used to babysit him and his sister, but he always wanted movie-based games, and a lot of those weren't very good, and Platoon was one of those. So yeah, we've got a nice selection of NES stuff here for sure. Tecmo Super Bowl, definitely a classic. Some Turtles action there. Along the bottom here, we've got some consoles. We've got a Master System Power Base there. Big fan of the Master System. 300 bucks if you want to take that console home. Now the retro gaming stuff takes up the right side of the store, almost to the back. And check it out, guys. We got some second gen stuff. You know, I always love seeing that, including Utopia, really early strategy game there. Definitely a groundbreaking title. Ooh, some ColecoVision stuff here. Common, but great games, including Space Fury, sort of an asteroids type game. It didn't have the voice effects of the arcade, but it did have that creature for my amusement. And got some nice selection of Dreamcast games here, including Miss Pac-Man Maze Madness. That one's a lot of fun. Sega Smash Pack, nice collection of games there. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. So yeah, there's no shortage of games here, that's for sure. Kangaroo, that's a tough game. Kind of a slow platformer like Donkey Kong, but it is a lot of fun. And we got some PS2 stuff here. Final Fantasy VIII, definitely a favorite among fans of the series. Even got some UMD games here. Some pricey ones too. Up to the PS Vita. And check it out, guys. There's a couple of really interesting Super Nintendo games here, including, back here in the corner, Bebe's Kids, based on a movie. $200. That's a really nice looking box there. That is a hard to find game. A sealed copy of Jungle Strike. That's a fun top-down shooter that spawned several sequels. And look, we've even got Mega Man 7 back there. 350 bucks. That is a tough game to find, but here it is in your friendly neighborhood retro gaming shop. Pretty solid selection of Super Nintendo games here. Actually, quite a few. Always good to see. Mega Man X, 60 bucks. James Bond Jr., definitely see some titles here. Now, Phantom, that you don't see very often, Phantom 2040, kind of an underrated game there. So yeah, nice mix of obscurities along with the more common stuff. And we're working our way over here to the GameCube selection and the Wii U, or section, not selection, but you know what I mean. Anyway, we got some newer stuff too. Princess Peach Showtime. My friend Sierra and my friend Valerie love that game. So much fun. And such a cute looking game. I haven't played it, but it sure looks like just kind of a relaxing, fun game. A Raiden game back there. Pretty cool. There's a couple of Switch consoles and a couple more down here. Luigi's Mansion. Minecraft. Let me know in the comments if you play Minecraft on a console instead of online, instead of on, a computer. I would love to hear from you guys, you console gamers that play things like Fortnite and Minecraft. And yeah, I got a bunch of N64 titles down there. Tetrasphere, that's an interesting one. Always like the Tetris variants. They're always, even when they're not great, they're fun to try. Check this out, guys. Elmo's Number Journey. Used to play that with my kids when they were little. Really fun learning game. And yeah, we used to play the N64 educational titles and Atari 2600 educational titles with the kids when they were little. And that was just great. It was a great way to bond and just to have some simple learning exercises. So yeah, that was great. And as you can see, we've got a nice selection of Genesis games here, including some stuff you don't see every day, like Valis, 140 bucks. So that one will set you back. And guys, if you played this Roar of the Beast game for the Genesis, one of the worst games for the console, but it's a nice one to collect because it's kind of hard to find, and the box is really cool if you can find it. And if you're a Disney fan, it's a good display piece. Earthworm Jim, one of the best games, in my opinion, for the system. Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition. That'll get you a lot of entertainment for 28 bucks, I'm telling you. Blaster Master 2. Now, the NES game was really famous for being non-linear and a nice adventure game with action. But Blaster Master 2 is definitely less well known. Check it out, a Mega Drive game back there. X-Men 2 Clone Wars. Very cool. And some Game Gear stuff. Looks like mostly common Game Gear titles, but a couple of obscurities in there. And a sealed Lynx game, Rampart. Funny World Balloon Boy. That was a really low budget third-party title. And some Master System stuff here, including Rambo 3. Really fun game. And the R-Type and Double Dragon ports are absolutely great. And Altered Beast is usually more associated with the Genesis since it was the original pack-in title for that console. And we got some Sega CD. Mickey Mania is fantastic. Amazing Spider-Man versus the Kingpin, that one's pretty fun. Lawnmower Man was an interesting experiment in 3D gaming, but not great. And then, of course, the Mighty Saturn with prices absolutely on fire. There's 2 copies of Sonic R. Pretty tough one these days. Mortal Kombat 2, nice port for that console. Now, as advertised, Resurrected Games also has movies. It's right there in the title, Resurrected Games and Movies. And they've got floor-to-ceiling DVDs and a nice Blu-ray selection. And again, they are loaded down with trading card games, if that's your thing. And over here, we've got a ton of Xbox and Xbox 360 games. And we've got a wall of PS3 and PS4. So yeah, there's no shortage of games to look at and shop for while you're here. And here's the Blu-ray selection here behind the counter. So yeah, pretty awesome. Now guys, if your collection only consisted of a PS3, you could stay busy for hours, months, years. I mean, with Uncharted and with the Spider-Man games, with the Ninja Gaiden, excellent hack and slash action. This complete collection of like 60 Genesis games, not complete collection, but ultimate collection, would keep you busy for a very long time. The Sly collection, you know, the thing about this gen, the PS2, PS3 era, the Xbox 360 era, you can get a ton of games for very cheap. A lot of these games are very budget friendly. And the Wii U, it's also a good time to be collecting for the Wii U right now. You can get some great games for a nice price. So yeah, if you know, you're a retro gamer and you're just stuck in the deep, dark past, you might consider branching out to the more recent-ish systems. Check out this Atari Anthology for the PS2. 67 2600 games and 18 classic arcade games. $15, guys. That would keep you busy for a very, very long time. And I do like to point out random things I see at gaming stores. Check out this Batman puzzle. I believe that's from around 89 or a little later, probably during the Batmania era from the movie. $30 for a sealed puzzle, really cool. Among the DVDs, two things really stood out to me. This WKRP in Cincinnati set, the complete series, put out by Shout Factory, and they have a little disclaimer on the back that said they included as many uncut episodes as possible and as much as of the music as possible, because some of the copyrights were hard to obtain for the music. Anyway, I loved that show back in the day, and Johnny Fever was a personal hero of mine for his attitude about music and being a DJ and wanting to play the really cool music and not just be a corporate hack. And this complete collection of Super Friends. You guys know, if you watch my channel, that I grew up absolutely loving this cartoon, and especially when Green Lantern and Flash and secondary characters back then would make it onto episodes. That was just such a great show when I was a kid, and I still enjoy it. Well, there you go, guys. Resurrected Games in Austin, Texas. Let me know what you thought. I have to say it was kind of a pleasant experience. Yes, the labels were faded on quite a few of the games that were by the windows. And yes, the worker seemed pretty invested in whatever he was watching and listening to on his phone. But he was kind enough to let me film the store. And when I thanked him, he was pleasant. And my interactions with him were brief, but pleasant. Yeah, could be a little better organization and things like that, and some better display techniques, but they had some interesting, hard to find games. Prices were a little high, but overall I had a pleasant experience, and I was really curious to see this place. So be sure and let me know if you've been to this store before and what you thought of it in general. There was definitely stuff to look at, I'll put it that way, and some pretty cool items that I would enjoy adding to my collection, but alas, I didn't buy anything. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, liking, and subscribing, and be sure and watch the first part of this video, the part where I talk about the reviews of this store. Do you think those were fair? And yes, there are positive reviews of this store online as well. So check out Resurrection Games in Austin if you ever get a chance. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll talk to you in another video.